You're listening to an episode recorded during the time Innovation Fuel was part of University Canada West. We are proud and grateful for the work we've done together, and we want to thank the university for being in our podcast. We are now excited to continue the journey of Innovation Fuel into its next chapter. Thanks for listening. So, hello out there to all our listeners. I am Dave Kieran, and
I am Gelareh. We are educators
and entrepreneurs too,
and the host of this podcast, Innovation Fuel. At University Canada West, we believe that our students are the future of Canada. No, Dave?
We arm them with the tools and bring real-life stories into the classroom, which they can take with them as they embark on their journeys to becoming the leaders of tomorrow.
And Innovation Fuel is our way of sharing these stories with you. Innovation Fuel is brought to you by University Canada West, an innovative business and technology university. It is business podcast with new episodes every 2 weeks.
Hey, Gelareh and I are going to bring you real live stories of some small, medium-sized businesses in BC as our guests to help in sharing the innovation that's out there in our community. If you'd like to know more about us, you can visit us at www.ucanwest.ca/innovationfuel. Are you ready, Gelareh?
Yes,
Are
Dave.
you ready?
Let's do it, Dave. Let's do it.
You think we should do it?
Yes,
okay.
Of course.
Without further ado, let's ignite today's episode of Innovation Fuel. Gelareh, I can sense that we have an innovator among us. Tell us, who is in the virtual studio with us today?
For this episode, we will be having a conversation with Hamidreza Mohammadi, co-founder and principal director of VIP Parking Solution. Hamid is university instructor as well, and entrepreneur, just imagine, who has successfully started his businesses in the Middle East and Canada. We can call him serial entrepreneur.
Oh, wow. We are very happy you decided to join us for this episode, Hamid. And we have so many questions about your intriguing businesses. But before we get there, Hamid, tell us a little bit more about what led you down the path of becoming an entrepreneur.
I belong to a family where they already been employees of some big governmental companies, the Central Bank of Iran. Most of my parents being employees. And as you can imagine, they already found out that being an employee is a secure way of living, and they encouraged me just to go and become an employee in some of these big organizations. I remember after my national service period, after graduation and my bachelor, then I had the chance to go to one company as a private sector. And from that moment, when I compare some kind of short stay in another government job and looking at the different environments, I found that private sector is the answer, not government, because of the efficiency and the atmosphere which you can find is extremely different between private sector and government. And later on, I found that, I need to have more room to try and error. It's so tight to be an employee and in a box, and you have to just frame your mind, your creativity, your talents in line with something dictated to you. It's a bit annoying for me. And I just had some kind of passion and ideas to explore. So after being 4 or 5 years employee for a private sector and involving in some challenging project between Iran and Kuwait, I started to think about funding my own company. And I established my first company about 22 years ago. And that was my first company. We went back to Iran. And then we went on to some export projects, again from Iran to Kuwait and Middle East countries. Then never think about going back and become an employee. So I can tell you some kind of experience that I had from those atmosphere that you can find as an employee in government or private sector finally gave me the push to go and jump into the river and try to swim. And of course, there are some swallow or something happen, but
and a lot of sharks, I'm
sure.
Yeah,
that was the beginning.
Yeah. Well, it's the typical entrepreneurial story. We want to get out there. We want to operate outside the box, and we want to try something. So now, Hamid, what led you then to this new venture here, VIP Parking Solutions? Tell us a little bit more about this organization and what the product is, what the business is about, and what are you doing?
I have to tell you that throughout my business life, I had the chance to start the different businesses, and some of them are still going on back to Middle East. I had to open a new company in United Arab Emirates, which was a neighboring country to Iran, as you know. And then when we moved in 2015 to Canada, we had the same situation. I had an option to go and think about being an employee here or go further to explore a new opportunity and possibilities in this environment. Through the network of the friends with the similar conditions, there are many people as immigrants, and that's the case for immigrants because many of these immigrants already have successful stories and businesses back home. And when they come to Canada, they already have, let's say, dense experience. They are capable and have the capacity to take risk and manage different business conditions. They already have this talent and insight. Many of them think about, okay, let's start here. And that's why we have many times we talk about many ideas throughout those kind of events or networking or family and friend gatherings. So I always had some sort of open eye about thinking about new ideas. And ironically, many of these ideas have been tested back home to Iran or in United Arab Emirates. Those kind of countries, honestly saying, when I compare it with Canada, I found them, let's say, a kind of not balanced in a way they are going to absorb innovation because something is so much advanced and they are even pay a lot of money or the conditions are very much in favor of trying something new, which is existing in the world. But the main body of the society and business and economy is not that much matched with that. So you can find something which is ahead than the whole standard. And
so
that's why
hello
we
out
have
there to all our
interesting
listeners. I
there,
am
which
Dave
we can
Kieran,
practice it here. And one of them was this parking solutions. Parking system has been tried and experienced before back in Iran. I had a friend, old friend that we found each other back here in Vancouver. We talk about different business idea, and he had this business idea. That was his own experience, about 15 years busy with this business in Iran. And he thought that what if we can bring this new technology to Canada and make it happen here? And that's the time that we decided. Actually, it was a bar, and we had some glass of beer, and we talked about that, and we said, okay, let's try that. And those times, I already have some business idea in my own personal incubator, but I try to focus on this one. So that was the moment that we both embraced this idea and focus on that and start the journey, let's say, here.
And I did have an opportunity to look at your website, and I was looking some of the videos. It's pretty impressive what you can do with this VIP parking and the way that you can. What I saw, you can actually bring vehicles up to your apartment with this kind of technology,
yes, that's true.
Which is really exciting. And what a way to be very efficient with storage.
Exactly. That's the key. To make it clear for you, this technology already had more than 60 years history back to Europe, Germany, actually. The company that we acting as the exclusive distributor is VOR. VOR is very famous in this industry. And they have the world widest in-house product range among all of those producer and manufacturer. They already had something in their mind, which is the problem of space. As you can imagine, space management is the critical things, and it's becoming more and more critical. Just look at COVID-19 and the impact on the lifestyle of the people. You have to have 2-meter minimum distance, and you can imagine all of them are talking about space and how we use our space. And in North America, that was much much later than Germans and Europeans to think about how they can optimize space. And the key in space management, especially in urban development, is the equation between cars and human side of the society. You dedicate a lot of space and lands to cars. If you go to any streets, you can see that sometimes the space that you are allocated on the streets for cars are much more than walkable area for people or for bikes to ride. Cars are the king of the everywhere. And even in our home, in our building, you can see that you dedicated a lot of space of total building volume for parking. I've read some article in which they have some comparison among different cities, and they found out that in majority of the cities, including Vancouver, average bedroom of cars are even bigger than bedroom of individuals. So you can imagine that we have something which are supposed to give us service, but we pay a lot of money to have a property, and we pay a lot of money to rent a parking space, and then we have these cars parked there for only 5% of the whole time we are going to use them. 95% of the time, these car parking are captured by cars. They are just resting there while the driver has to go and work to pay the bills. So there is some kind of imbalance between cars and drivers or human side of the society. And that's the gap that the Germans focus and try to find solution to innovation to make more space for people and less space, compacted space for cars.
So, Hamid, thanks for these introductions. Can you explain who are your customers and why they should buy it from you?
Yes. To make it clear, anybody who already have some issue with land and space can be our customers. And as you can imagine, the land and the space are the profession of the construction. Anybody who are active in construction industry already have to deal with the space and land. The majority of the existing buildings are still going on with the conventional model of parking. They dedicate in some cases, even 30% of the total volume of the projects dedicated to parking, and normally underground parking. So it's a costly part of the construction because you have to excavate and reach to some depths, and it's a costly thing. So anybody already have problems in order to go deeper, they are going to be one of our customer. And in particular, those have some stakeholders of land can be our customers. And one of them, of course, are builders, developers, as well as their service provider like construction management, as well as architects, and of course, municipalities and cities. Cities are those who are regulating how we use our land and space. And we strongly believe that sooner or later, cities has to come and use these things in order to provide more land for bikes, for active mode of transportation. Go ahead.
No, so I'm saying, Hamid, on the other side of it, this side you're talking about stakeholders, and I see that a lot of them are developers, landowners, government, of course, and city elements. Do you find that also the end user is a customer too? Because you must have to try and convince these developers that this is an initiative that they should take on when they're building these buildings to make it more, more convenient to their customers.
Excellent question. Actually, when you talk about the space management for construction, you have to think about it in this way. From one side, the city and all the municipality and the trends is not in favor of cars. Overall, we don't want to have cars on the street. And cities always wants to get rid of the car. Meantime, for convenience of the user, they want to have cars because it's easier to commute from place to place. So we have solution which is compatible based on that optimum. For example, some buildings are built they call it high ridership corridor, where there are transit available, where there is many things available. So you can go with parking less buildings. For those parking less buildings, parking will be a kind of fancy things to do. And they want to minimize the space that they dedicated for parking. So we can provide a solution to give them maximum number of cars in the minimal space. That's how we are going to use that. For those kind of areas that you need to have multiple cars, let's say we have some kind of shopping mall, you need to have again, we can increase number of the car that can be parked in that area by installing our system. So we are talking about space optimization. It can be for end user, commercial end user specifically. For example, a restaurant, they want to serve their guests and they don't have parking. So we can install our systems and generate parking for them. And then they are going to be happy because their business are going to have better revenue. So yes, combination of all of them. And also you have to consider cost. If I'm not going to give them these systems, they are going to be so costly construction, and it's by the end of the day, who's going to pay that? End user, because the property is going to increase.
So Hamid, it means that you're customizing your product for your customers, right? And one more question is that so you are not just selling your products, right? You're giving the services by designing their product, right? And other services that do you deliver to the customers?
Very interesting point. Yes, absolutely. I have to make it like this. We have a manufacturer in Germany. They already have a strict standard in manufacturing. They already has to be inspected by many of those inspectors to be in line with ISO 9000 something, whatever. They cannot customize their own product. They have some kind of options for each product, but they cannot customize each single product. For us, it's like this. We have we're talking about more than 280 products, let's say, and including the variants. So what we do, based on the layout of the system and section and the convenience of the client, developer, end user, whoever wants to come forward, or even cities, we are going to pick the best match from our toolbox, which is very vast and very wide. We are going to pick some of the products which are best fit, and then we create a customized solution using these modules. So it's a modular way of customization. So that's why it's a solution. It's a parking solution which works for that traffic, works for that. So when we talk about parking solution, it's a kind of things which you are going to put it in the construction. So already you have to think about the structural issue, mechanical issue, electrical issue, traffic issue. We have to make it a complete package. And that's why we have to provide all of these additionals on top of the main product that we bring from Germany. So the product comes from Germany. In addition to that, we have to provide these layers on that, and totally it becomes a solution workable and possible for the client or developers to embrace in their own plan.
So you're adapting your value to meet those customers' needs. So more like almost customization, personalization to those clients.
It's pretty much like that. It's kind of mass customization, but the customization made through correct arrangement and configuration of these modules. So part of this production done by us as a local partner of the manufacturer here. And in doing so, we have to have a series of professionals like PNG, electrical, mechanical. All of them has to be in my package because they know the codes, they know the things that happens in Canada. So I have to tell you, to bring this new technology into Canada, we had a lot of challenge because things are still unknown here and we have to solve the problem. In ideal situation, customers already know what are these things and they already have some clear pathway to simply buy this and we install it for them and finish. But that's not the case for us. We have to make a lot of additional layer to make it really possible for the customer to trust it.
Hamid, can you explain how you reach your customers and how you can find them, reach them?
That's a good question. Let's say the most applicable way by now was those kind of contractors, builders and developers who already have problem of excavation due to many reasons. Maybe there is a hard rock that they cannot blast it and it's going to be too costly. Maybe they have some water running under that land and property that they want to install a big building. Because of so costly excavation, they already are searching for solution. And when they search on the website and all the architects and whoever wants to search on the site, they reach to that company Word from Germany because they are one of the pioneers. And through manufacturer, actually, they find us. That's one way which normally happens. But these days, the more we are engaged in the Canadian market, we learn that we have to be active in some professional network. And we found out among the players in our business, key players are architects, because architects are those who can bring this new innovation into the building story. Each building has its own story, and that story has to resonate something related to society, and of course related to feasibility and money generation for developer and client, as well as convenience for the user, and of course the concerns of the city and municipality. So who knows to have this orchestra in a proper way? Architects are the main player, and they are those people that we have to target. And we already started communicating with AIBC, which is Association for Architects, Association for Architects in BC, and also we already providing launch and learn session, by which we are going to organize. That's a smart way to make those professions familiar with this new technology. We use that 1 hour launch time in many of these architectural firms, and we provide them launch. Meantime, we use that 1 hour to present what are our products, and how they can help them in their design. And they should learn this, and they should embrace it, and then they make it part of the overall building solution. So that's the key we want focusing.
Well, it makes sense, Hamid, to go after the architects. It's definitely, when they're building out these buildings.
So, Hamid, your product is going to be very new in this market, Canadian market, right? So, what kind of pricing model you use to attract your customers to buy from you?
That is also important to share with you. Actually, from business perspective, you have to say we are exclusive distributor all over Canada, but in reality, we are talking about many countries within big country. So we have different jurisdiction in charge. As you know, we talk about different provinces, and they have their own way of managing and governing things. And it's also echo itself in the economic sector that we are active, of course, in construction. So for each of these provinces, we have different situation. So we try to provide a kind of market penetration based on competition. If there are some big construction company and they already have a tower and they already organize a tender, so that's a tender based. And for tender, we already have some sense about our competitor price, and we try to compete with them with the lower price or similar price. If there is a project that is a single family or a small one, and they are looking for some unique, redundant and reliable product, and it's a high-end residence, and they just think about quality and German quality, so then our pricing is high. Meantime, the level of the quality and the services and additional features are also going to be added. So we adjust. We don't care that much about the price. It's a kind of prestige pricing, but meantime, we try to provide maximum benefit and value throughout the features that we add on our products, or warranty extension, or some of those free after-sales services and these kind of things. But things in BC is different. In BC, we are almost one of the biggest player. There are some limited number of the competitor, but meantime, this is still not a vacant market. It's not that much booming market. We start these things here, this culture almost in BC. BC, they have some limited experiences of this, and we want to be the pioneer. So here, our price policy is skimming, and we might lead to become prestige pricing, end up to be a prestige pricing, or we are going to go on with the skimming. And if there are competitors coming forward, so then we are going to adjust our pricing as well. But the acquisition cost of customers is very high. These kind of, as you can imagine, because it's a long process and multidisciplinary sales in a particular industry, which everything is regulated. And when everything is regulated, the notions of the risk already been mitigated by several dominoes rely on each other. But when you want to bring a new innovation things among this existing network of these commitment and liabilities, it's very difficult, and it takes a lot of time and energy and expertise. So our charges and acquisition charges is very high, and you have to find a way to compensate, and that's not true pricing. We cannot reduce price for more than certain amount.
So with that, Amit, like what kind of necessary daily activities do you need to do to make sure your business model sustains?
I can cut it in different stages. Our sales are mainly project based, so I can stick to the project life cycle. Let's say we have projects which are in concept development stage. For those projects, we have to provide them feedback and primary scenarios and let the architects and the technical people conceptualize how they can use these systems. We have majority of our activities are related to these tasks. Architects all over Canada, sending their own floor plan and inquiries. We are going to investigate and try to make a good matchmaking from our own inventory and propose them different scenarios. And then they are going to have back and forth talking about many questions and technical questions. And then we go to pricing. So that's part of our activity. That's the time when the architects would like to bring this concept into the plan. And then when they already accepted that in their plan through conversation they had with the client, normally the investor or developer, then we are with them in the line to be approved by municipalities and cities, which might take a lot of time. And that's the bureaucratic part in Canada. They are going to have lots of back and forth because we are going to be only part of the bigger plan. And the developed plan had lots of items and all of them has to be reviewed. So we are in the line and the queue to be investigated by city planners and city engineers. So we have many of these projects in that stage. And when the city planner accepted that and the floor and the developer permit has been issued, then again they come back to us for further discussion and details. So part of our activity are related to those kind of projects which already passed that permit and they want to talk about further details. And after details final details, we start procurement process. We have to place the order with Germans. We have to also control that we are going to receive them on time and make it match with the schedule of construction. And of course, we are going to deal with freight forwarder. We are going to deal with customs. We are going to deal with people here to provide us the services. Then we have to bring also the engineers, local engineers, to do some kind of electrical termination. We have to have the subcontractor for mechanical installation. So a combination of these additional services we have to add. And sometimes we have components from Canada, which we have to bring like transformer or some of those drives or some electrical components we have to add to German side and make it overall a integrated solution working for the client. So daily we have to deal with all of them depending which project we are dealing with. Majority of the time we are dealing with those projects back to in the pipeline, which they are in the conceptualization stage, and we have to respond to them. We have to guide and help the architects to make this a meaningful solution in their plan.
So, what is your main costs? Can you explain it? What is your main cost in the whole project? Because you say it's a project base, yeah?
Of course, the cost of the main product procurement from Germany is the major part of the game. So those products are made in Germany and they are expensive. Of course, the highest quality which are available in this market, and they are designed in a very particular manner. That's the main cost. But of course, we have other costs in Canada, and I can explain later on.
It's very interesting with this whole direction of this business, and it seems very innovative and it's an interesting concept. Now, all of a sudden, COVID-19 hits the scene. Everything changes. The business environment changes. I'm sure how you're dealing with your customers are changing. So tell our listeners, how are you overcoming these challenges in this new environment, in the new way we're going to do business in the coming future?
Yes, COVID-19, as I told you, we are part of the construction sector. So if you look at the review of the impact of construction sector, COVID-19 on the construction sector, you can see that for many big projects, there was an impact. Some of them are slowed down. But for medium and small projects, it was not that much impactful. So, I mean, they did not experience lockout at all. Some of the big ones, yes, But on those peak time, yes, but majority of them going on with their own operations. So I can tell you, as far as the timing of the projects and the schedule that we have to meet, nothing changed. The big challenge happened for us, especially in logistic. We had a huge challenge in finding suitable vessel and also suitable service provider, transportation provider. They already had a number of the trades and containers and ships moving between countries, especially Europe and Canada, sharply decreased. And the freights also increased because there are limited options available. And suddenly some countries like Germany also, they already put some kind of restriction for export and custom clearance and these kind of things. Suddenly these things has impact in our let's say, in our scheduling, in our planning. We had a bit hard time to find a replacement for those previous carriers and replace them with more expensive but reliable one, because it can be easily done. One container arrive and for some unknown reason, lockdown in customs, those containers remain there for 20 days, and for every day the owner of the container is going to charge you. So there are new risks imposed to us, but we have been committed for the projects, and the projects are still going on. So that was a challenge, and we try to pay more whenever required. We pay, and that's important for entrepreneurs. Sometimes you have to pay more in order to avoid some risk. The amount of the risk that you can tolerate and can manage sometimes is more than your capacity, and you have to pay in order to avoid that and leave the others professional to take the risk. So yes, COVID-19 impact us that. Overall, we also worried about the impact on the end user. Maybe somebody already lost their jobs. Maybe the sales of the buildings and constructions are not that much easy as before. It's still not known because, as you know, the government already have some kind of grace period for mortgage. And the real impact may be seen within 2-3 months from now. The impact on the real estate market and automatically on the developer and builders who are our main client, and the way they want to proceed with the investment, and whether they're going to go on with the projects which is already in planning stage, or no, they are going to keep it for later. So we're still expecting some impact on our sales.
And what about reaching your customers? Is that changing? Is that being changed a lot? Because you said at the beginning of a lot of networking elements, and the element of networking is now changing. How are you going to reach those customers?
Yes, interesting question. Now, so we organize similar Lunch and Learn, but this time by using Zoom and these kind of platforms. And so we're still going on with that, educating our future clients, architects, but using online. And because of, as you can imagine, Canada is very huge and vast, majority of clients already been in contact through emails and exchanging those documents through emails. And so still nothing changed on that side. But whenever it comes to visit of the projects and have some kind of field inspection, so number of those inspections also come down, but it still is there. So I can tell you, for majority of the sales, we can switch to online and everything go on as before. And some kind of field inspection and field visit, we had some kind of more care, and perhaps the number of those field visits reduced due to restrictions which are in place.
Knowing that our listeners are listening in here and intrigued about your offering, can you give us any final thoughts that you have, or any comments, or any advice that you can pass on to our entrepreneurs out there, or future entrepreneurs?
Yes, I can give some advice, which I think is we pay the price to learn this. Number one is our perception about the things happens here, because I can tell you that I'm an immigrant entrepreneur, which make it a kind of unique condition. I can compare how the things run in different economic system, let's say back to UAE or Iran, with different mentality, with different policy and the role of the government. And I can also compare them with Canada. In Canada, I have to tell you that for entrepreneurs, they have to avoid the risk of unknown by picking a regulated industry. So don't think that, okay, your idea, if you have multiple idea try to pick your playground based on the government position in that playground. If there is a playground which is heavily regulated and things are properly set and every other parameters are already connected to that structure, and your innovation is something which change that structure, that would be a huge headache and huge energy. They can consider that it's not related to the product itself, it's related to context where the product is going to be offered. So I encourage the future entrepreneur, focus much more than normal on context, because changing context in Canada is a huge problematic part of these things. Try to pick some idea which match, and the context is welcoming that. It's not only some of those decoration or things which are happier in incubators or in universities or on those kind of science and research based. I'm talking about the field, business field. This country already had lots of immigrants. They are not have enough time to adjust themselves with the existing and also change that at the same time. So you have to consider that the more you're going to have, the less you're going to have friction with the existing context, more successful you will be to focus on your own product and your own features and the strategy that you want to take.
So, Hamid, it means that you think that new entrepreneurs, especially immigrants or newcomers, it's better to understand the environment of Canada, the marketplace of Canada, than try to find opportunity inside this environment, right? That's what you're trying to say.
Yes, I just want to tell you one of the problems we have. I always use this as an example. We already have some kind of dent, or let's say a sprocket or some sort of wheels which is matched, the gear matched with different economic system. When you have this framed mind and you want to repeat this similar approach here in Canada, you are going to face problem. Without knowing that the things in Canada are different from the things that you have in your back home country, it seems very obvious. But to get really under the real understanding about the field that you want to be active, you have to have much more in-depth understanding from the things which happens in real field. Then you think about, okay, I want to start my journey in this field because this field is. Don't ignore that this is the important part of your success. To know more about the sector and the conditions in Canada, which has its own signature way of doing things.
So, Hamid, do you think what kind of knowledge can help entrepreneurs to start their business in Canada? Do you think that's any kind of a specific education or any kind of any other kind of knowledge that we can or Canada can offer to the entrepreneurs can be helpful? It's degrees or courses or any knowledge, anything.
I have to tell you the problem that I have seen in Canada is something which make you more capable to grasp opportunities and threats. Let's say business environment analysis is one of the important part of the game, which you have to have the knowledge and you have to acquire. If there are some programs or degree or course which provide me better understanding of how the things can be explored in particular sector of the country, it's going to help me a lot. Another important thing is how the factors of production can be reached and which one is accessible and what are the pros and cons for each of them. For example, I'm talking about banking. I already faced the problem of international banking. I found it very, very, very limited options available. Overall, we are not as happy or satisfied with the trade finance facilities that we can collect from the Canadian banks because they are not that much, let's say, open or integrated with as if other countries like Germany or Europeans are, or even Dubai or UAE is totally behind. It seems that they are in remote area in Ireland, heavily dependent with the Americans. So these kind of things is important to know, and programs which provide entrepreneurs this kind of understanding are very valuable. factors of production, the way they can deal with their ideas and how they can make them protected, how they can fund, because Canada from the other side is already have lots of interesting facilities for entrepreneurs. They can use these facilities, they can apply properly, and the facilities are there in order to help them to work on their idea and turn them to some meaningful product concepts. And that's one side of the game, which is very valuable for entrepreneurs to know how they can be benefited and how they can use existing features, let's say, like the way they have to treat with banks and loans, also the way they have to treat with the laborers. So I think something like an MBA, something like a kind of collection of different perspective, multidisciplinary, can be something valuable for them. I don't know if an entrepreneur is going to spend 2 years or 1.5 years for an MBA, but overall it's a useful thing. Entrepreneurs has to do a lot of to respond to a lot of challenges, and those challenges need higher level of understanding about the bigger system, economic system, how it's play, political system, and how they can have meaning or value for businesses as well. So I think MBA or something related to business environment can be a good candidate.
Good. Very exciting. Very exciting. I think that very good information, Hamid. That was nice to hear all this, the advice coming back to our listeners so they can hear some of the challenges and what things that they should be looking for, and even some elements, maybe some programs and things that they can sort of look towards to help support them in their development as they move forward in their plan to launch their own entity. Hamid, it's been an amazing pleasure. We'd like to continue this conversation with our listeners offline, and we'll give our listeners an opportunity to come reach out to us at www.ucanwest.ca/innovation fuel. Come tell us if you'd like to talk to Hamid or you want to share some of your experiences. We'd like to hear from you, and we'd like to hear from you in that channel. And I'm sure Hamid would like to hear some of the story elements. The other thing that we want to sort of really highlight as we move forward in our show is that one of the things is that we have an opportunity here is we have an opportunity to connect our students. We have wonderful MBA students here that at University Canada West, and they have a lot of background and knowledge to help out some small and medium-sized businesses, especially now with COVID-19. So if you'd like to have one of our students maybe join you on a capstone project, doing a consulting project for you, or an internship, we'd love to connect you, and we can connect you to our career services department there. Again, we want to thank Hamid, our wonderful guest. Hamid, it's been an amazing adventure here with you today. Enjoyed every moment of it, and the knowledge that you've shared with us. Thank you again for joining us, Gelareh.
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening to us. Please revisit our website. And definitely all the entrepreneurs that they want to share their stories, their journey, they are welcome. And if you need any help, your students are there to help you.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night. See you next time.